Are we having technical issues?
We're good.
Okay,
We're good.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, definitely much bigger than the first venue. I think it's been here for a few years.
Well, this is the third venue.
This is the third.
Yeah.
This is the third.
You missed out on all the middle one.
So, if you come here, you will see horses, representations of other cattle,
and also smell
outside.
them as well.
Smell them.
Yes.
You could mistake it, other than the mountains, for being in Texas, in this part of Denver. So I think great to be back. I would say builder heavy vibe this year. We can go into that shortly.
Yeah.
But we were both at MetaMask's Builder Nights last night. It was full to the brim, and a lot of enthusiastic people. Very suit light.
Oh,
Right.
It's always been suit light at ETHDenver.
Yeah.
But especially so, I would say.
And Bob, we were both here last year, but we've been to a couple. How are you feeling about the vibes this year?
Yeah, I brought numerous different ETHDenver t-shirts from prior years.
Yes.
This is quite a nice black one. There was a pink one as well.
Yes.
Lots of pink vibe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was 2019 was my first.
Okay.
So, I've been to most of them. I think I'm, after COVID, I maybe missed one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this venue very close to where it was for the last few years, but just a bit bigger and single layer.
Yeah.
Right. So you've not got rabbit holes of places to look for. But yeah, no side events for me yet.
Okay. Well, you were building the Museum of Ethereum, which we will talk about shortly. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's a lot, for your guys' reference, it's a lot smaller this year than it has been in previous years, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, I think. It can get too crazy. But, I think we can discuss why that is. Obviously, the price of ETH is a big factor.
The timing too, right? I think the 10-10 unwind is probably about when people were finally committing to what they were going to book.
Yeah.
Probably everyone was like, let me just watch this for a bit. And it's just been a slide since then.
Yes.
Well, and
the big cause.
The other weird thing is that, it started on Chinese New Year, which is like the time when we spend with our families, right? My wife is none too pleased that I'm here. So spending time with our families.
Right after Hong Kong, too.
And
a
it's
bunch
right
of people
after a
didn't
consensus
do
Hong
both.
Kong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Valentine's Day as well.
Valentine's
for
Day
the
as
early
well,
travelers.
So, yes. So all of these factors, I think, and the whole immigration situation in the U.S. is a little bit uncertain. So.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially from Europe, a lot of people are like, I wouldn't say scared, but they find it maybe we skip the U.S. for a while now, and ETC is coming up in 3 weeks, so many people are just going to ETC and skip the US one.
ETC is earlier this year, right?
Yeah, because of the heat. They don't want to have the extreme heat anymore. So it's gonna be in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a reason why there are less people.
Yeah.
DevConnect was quite full.
Yes, absolutely.
And the prices were better then, but also maybe people kind of blew their international travel on that one.
But I do think probably the biggest thing is prices.
Definitely the prices.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit more nervous than usual. And I think you have a lot of people who don't even have a ticket who show up at the last minute when prices are high. But with prices down,
not so much.
Not so much.
We've heard side events went from 900 to about 200, something like that. So there's also less to, just jump into.
Right.
Which again, it makes the quality better, right? So the ones that are too big, it's too diffuse. You're running all over the city, can't get a seat, can't get into anything. But
also not knowing when you're going, what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
You just in the worst of those, it's they've got a Luma page. They don't even have details of what's even happening when you turn up.
Yeah.
Let alone bothering to have a Twitter handle or a website or any of that. It's just a day before it. It's here's one paragraph.
Yeah.
You want to come?
I will say, I think, the signal to noise ratio is better because of this. I think the best is obviously the DevCons, DevConnects, but last year I watched a lot of talks, and I think only like one or two of them had anything that I really took away from that was
Yeah.
kind
In
of
Denver last year.
fun. In Denver last year.
Right.
I can run with that theme for a second. Okay, so there were AI talks in Buenos Aires. There were AI talks here, and they went from silly to useful to me in my day-to-day work.
Yeah.
And that's not a long period of time in between.
Well, and I'm also like pretty amazed at how quickly the event itself has responded to OpenClaw launched 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
It's
now
like a
it's
big
like
open
everywhere.
claw track.
Yeah, they have a complete OpenClaw track.
There's a
They have-
gigantic lobster.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
They have it-
I don't think
Oh,
there's
I
a
haven't seen
lobster.
that yet.
They have a
yeah, see those.
Yeah.
they have the giant lobster. They have a virtual Vitalik bot.
Oh,
They do have a Vitalik bot.
Yeah,
That one was they used one of the voice services. I think they trained it on Vitalik.
oh,
And
fantastic.
so in the opening remarks, they had Vitalik's voice talking to the governor,
Right.
yeah.
and so on, which was
And-
entertaining.
And by some, Vitalik, some would describe his speaking style as robotic to begin with. So it worked very, it was seamless, basically.
Do you remember that there used to be a Twitter account which was called Metallic Buterin, and it was
I have a
somebody,
vague memory of
I have
that.
and
a
it was
vague-
somebody doing a
Oh,
kind of a trolling
I
account.
I was writing a blog post and having some of the models score both my writing and then writing influences against how AI generated they sounded.
Right.
And Vitalik got a pretty high AI generated score. The others
Amazing.
did not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think, back in DevConnect, there was some practical stuff, but it was very much
Yeah.
when AGI comes,
Yeah.
then we will start building something real.
Well, I mean,
And
I think that.
now I think it's fully.
Well, I think it's the timing of the models, right? So,
Yeah.
GPT 5.2 and Opus 4.5 came out very late November, early December.
Hasn't
And
was it
then-
that recent?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I,
yeah, no.
I completely forget the previous
No.
model as soon as there's a new one.
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the timing on those. And then you've got 5.3 Codex and Opus 4.5
Yeah.
were in January. OpenClaw was in January. It is literally that takeoff, right?
Yeah.
When you talk to AI skeptical people, they've usually got old information,
Yeah.
i.e., not even that old.
Yeah.
It's just if you were doing stuff in October, then you might be yeah, it's kind of a bit garbage. Some is useful,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I'll tell you the other thing on that theme, saying about that from that DevConnect timeline. Where the fuck's all the privacy stuff gone?
well,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Utterly
there was
dominant
an
at that
event
point.
yesterday. I missed it. I was gonna go. I think they didn't approve me for one, but I'm sure it could have shown up. But it was sort of Dustin and Michael were saying it was kind of sort of debate format, and it got a little bit heated, maybe, and a little all over the place.
You had to
But-
put your phone in a Faraday bag.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
But I feel like at DevConnect they pushed the privacy maybe a bit too hard. But you had the Web3 Privacy Congress, and then they also did an extra privacy summit at the last day or one of the last days. And then the prices crashed, and then they came with everyone taking off for the New Year and Christmas period. A lot of people started to get into vibe coding because they got off of work.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a lot of posts on X of people exploring vibe coding by then. And then, of course, with the launch of OpenClaw now, I think it's really a booming narrative, a crazy hype narrative that's popping up. So yeah, we'll see where it's heading to. I mean, could be next month we're talking about something else again, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well,
It did feel a little top down at
Yeah.
DevConnect. I think it's because, so the foundation had more of creative control, if you will.
yes, exactly.
And so they were making a big investment there. I think they want everyone to know about it. And it was useful. It convinced us to expedite our privacy work, and we're pretty close to having integrated native privacy, you're opted into it by default, sort of thing. But yeah, to your point, the space narrative is just they're shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
But you got to just keep going on what you believe.
Exactly.
It'll come. The coins are down maybe a little bit, but it's going to come back. Too,
True, 100%. And I feel also like you say, the Ethereum Foundation had more control over the topics in DevConnect, and also DevConnect is a whole different type of vibe. It's more for devs. So and privacy was a big topic, and it's useful for devs. But like for example, at this type of conference where also more non-devs come to, it opens doors for people to learn how to build their own things with these AI models. And I think many people are interested in that. I mean, I think if you would push privacy here hard, you would even lose more people, I think. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense at the moment with the narrative. But like I said, maybe in a few months we're doing something else, or it's also going down a bit, or relatively like under narrative. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Well, I do think in a world where agents are doing a lot of the transaction volume, privacy, like at least at the start, you kind of want to understand what they're doing. And so maybe that's one of the reasons why that privacy narrative has taken a backseat. Like as an individual, I certainly want my balances not to be public, but I also want to like,
You want to know what the bots
I want to know
doing.
what the bots are doing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I don't want to give them free reign yet. I'm still in
Yes.
this mode of like, you know, trying to figure out what
mean,
they're going to do.
I think you're going to have a massive backslide in privacy, actually, because many people's agentic setup, they're, you know, just here you go, here's all my logins and everything.
We could teach the agents, if it's easy, just like kind of API driven, to use privacy tech.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard right now. Like all of the setups are kind of intricate at the moment, and not, they can do everything, but they might do a bad job handling all the material and so on.
Yeah.
You know, we've got folks like Railgun in production for more than 5 years and have a lot of shielded assets, but it's not easy by any means, you know.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
not really API'd.
I mean, even beyond, you know, blockchain privacy, just in general privacy, I guess I'm
that's
thinking
gonna be
about
it's down.
is just like many people. You're only going to use frontier models because you want the best performance. So that means it's a hosted service, and you're sending all of your data up to them.
Yeah. Well,
And you know, people are just going to be like, yeah, but the benefits. So
It's
yeah,
true.
screw privacy.
well, it's
whatever.
You
funny
kind of
we-
have to just compete, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Well,
a weird world.
We were at that AI security audit conference yesterday. We were putting up their hands, and like, you know, I think they were like, you know, how many of you use agents on a daily basis? The entire audience. And it's like, how many people let your agents trade for you? I think I was the only person that raised their hand. But of course, like I set up different accounts, and you know, I don't YOLO it with everything. But it's interesting though.
So some of our staff YOLO it.
Absolutely. And I think some of the contest participants
Yes.
absolutely YOLO'd it, you know, like
Mm.
they but
I mean, I think people are gonna YOLO it.
yeah,
Like, we're just gonna box them in to the extent that's possible. They're breaking containment as it is. Like, you have the experience of like, approve this web search, approve this file change. You're just like, all
everything.
right, do it. Come on, do
exactly.
it. You know,
I can't be bothered clicking, especially when you're using like Telegram or
Yeah.
like, you know, some other interface when it's not in front of you. You run into that.
So yeah, you got to kind of box them to the extent possible. But you know, I suppose. So I haven't done I got an air gap machine. I have not set it up yet. Maybe this weekend for my OpenClaw setup. I know Vic has made just net new GitHub, email,
Yeah,
Telegram,
exactly.
all that. So
Yeah.
at least keep it out of the.
Also, people
important
say
stuff.
like you need to be careful with it. Like I heard about stories of people like connecting it to wallets with a lot of funds and it just vanished.
Oh, no,
Yeah. So people making a lot of mistakes with it. And I think also it's important. I hope over time there is coming like proper guidelines about this and like courses and you know proper like people can do proper research to this,
Yeah.
because otherwise the other side of this is that you're gonna get a lot of trouble with this. Also, people using it for the wrong cases. People trying to explore with it, but then miserably fuck up and in some way and then lose a lot of funds, or you know we're just doing nothing with it. So yeah, I think that's also important.
Well,
know,
I think part of it also is things are moving so fast. I mean, part of the thing I think that, you know, the newer models unlocked is that they themselves are using it to code. So the
Oh, yeah.
model,
That's recent.
yeah, and
where
that's
they
very,
really
very
moved to
recent.
the
Like,
model
Yeah.
making the next
like
model.
we've really come to the point where up to now, I was able to at least try pretty much every major model, open weight model, you know, new iterations. And now I just can't anymore. They're just coming out way too, like I'm like halfway through playing around with one, and I'm talking like in a day, and then a new one comes out, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 came out last week. So it's just like, of the open weight models.
To your point on safety, it's sort of a plug for the MetaMask people. I know they're working on a good way to hook like a hard policy to an LLM, which is really like a spend limit or something slightly more complicated than that.
Yeah,
I think
sounds good.
a lot of so if you compare like an agent to a pure LLM, also like even like what Cursor is doing, it's got a little internal state machine that's running it in a loop, and there are deterministic parts of it wrapped around the genius but unreliable LLM, and that's the thing we have to get really good at.
Yeah.
Just like giving it enough guardrail. Also, yeah, they just perform better when you've got hard, like, here's the success criteria and it's a number.
Yeah.
Or
Well, it's just constraining the
is
problem,
exactly
right?
like that. Yeah. And so I think we're gonna get good at it, but
It's
the
just gonna
models
take
are so
time.
good now. You just kind of want to
yeah.
like
Right.
throw it at it, but they can still hang themselves.
Well, I think with time, everything will fall in its place eventually. Just now, super chaotic, and I mean, it's super. Like I said, it's going super fast. Every week, it's changing. I mean, I've never seen something in my lifetime change so quickly and go so quickly to an advanced version.
No.
It's almost impressive to see. So yeah, I think just gonna take some time.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
Honestly,
totally.
it's amazing. Like I've been programming since 1984 when I was 10, and it's just everything there's been is like nothing, all look new paradigm, new thing. Like they're just little tiny blips, and it's like woo.
I mean, I do think it's a super exciting time. Like the only time I can think of that is even close is like when, in the 80s when personal computing first came out.
Yeah.
Because there was like an explosion of languages and like machines and hardware and all of these things. And you just felt like, oh, like I'm drinking from the fire hose. I just got to kind of try and keep up with it, But it's exciting. Okay, aside from agentic AI, is there any other theme that we've picked up on here?
I think related to the price theme in part, it's the return of the builder. So I think there was the perception that things were getting too corporate. You got like the Stripe L2,
Yeah.
L1,
Corpo
L2,
chains.
Corpo chains,
L1. Yeah.
stables. Stripes is an L1. Which one's an L2?
No, Tempo is an
Tempo.
L1.
Tempo's L1. Yeah.
Tempo is PayPal, right? Stripes is L2. I think.
I guess there are enough of them that we can't keep them straight. Circles
Stripe
got
and
one.
Tempo.
Stripe is Tempo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
L1. Yeah.
And so there's the fear that like, oh, they're just gonna gobble this up this time. And it doesn't feel like that's gonna happen. I think we, having been an enterprise blockchain player for a long time, there's great things about the enterprise. And this wave kind of rhymes with the previous, and it seems more serious and more likely to get somewhat big. But you just don't get the, like, give me a bunch of crazy dudes with dreadlocks or, just like angry over like 1,000 Google engineers, in terms of like changing the world sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're going to have both, of course. So I think there was a feeling that there would be this big capture. And also sometimes when the prices dip, you see the more conservative, like big corporates lose interest a bit because it's like, oh, this is not going to hit the P&L in the next year or two. The execs are not excited anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't finish a thing that could have worked.
Yeah.
So, builders are back. Tomas's speech was kind of about this. I think that's real. I mean, there was so base is no longer going to be on, Arbitrum Optimism?
Optimism, I think it is. Yeah.
They're migrating text.
I think Arbitrum. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Arbitrum.
What two? Are they going to be an L1? Are they, unclear?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a bit
Maybe
confusing.
Vitalik's announcement about L2s and L1s was like presaging this a little bit. I don't know why now. Are they losing a lot of fee revenue? Like,
Well, I
is
think
there
also
a
the
reason?
problem is a bit like with L2s. I mean, everyone saw the post of Vitalik, of course, and I think the L2s have been, not exploring further enough. I mean, what is possible on Ethereum actually, and I think there's way more possible than we have explored now with the L2s. They've been like playing this game of who's the cheapest and everything, and now especially when markets are down, they
Doesn't matter so much, right? Yeah.
they are like not really like exploring for, like I said, these USPs. And that's actually what Vitalik meant in this post. Like L2 should be looking more for their own USPs and how to play that out in the right way. And many people picked it up wrong. They saw, oh, he's criticizing L2 so crazy, and at the same time he's selling Ethereum, and people made a big fud about it, which is totally wrong, of course. So yeah, I think we're gonna see maybe over time like a reintegration of how L2s are gonna move in the space and what they are gonna do. So yeah, I'm quite interesting also to see that. Apart of all the like AI stuff and privacy stuff, I'm also quite interesting on what's going to be built on Ethereum for the next 5 years. Like, are they going to come up with new ideas that we haven't seen in the past, and how is that going to go further on? So yeah, quite interesting to see that as well.
One interesting thing, going back to the agentic part, is the recent launches have been fast, right? Like they launched that AI registry, like these kind of things quickly, whereas typically those would have taken a year or something to kind of come out. So I do think, Vitalik in his talk today seems kind of fully committed to changing in that direction. And he was saying it's like, he thinks of it as paradigm shifting like ZK is kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Well, we need to discuss a little bit about the Museum of Ethereum, which is the first thing you see when you walk through the door. And it's mostly thanks on this group due to Bob. Bob, you're up almost all night trying to get that up and running.
Yes.
What's the best reaction or feedback you've gotten to it so far?
Seeing people clustering around. So there's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Is the first piece, which is I guess to take a step back, a lot of this stuff has come out of early days of Ethereum. That's where a lot of the source material has come from.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first wall is this grid of all of the people that have profiles on that. So it's over 200 people.
Yeah.
Basically trying to identify everyone who was involved with Ethereum prior to the creation of the foundation, and then all of the foundation people through to the end of Ming Chan era.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a bunch of people like looking and I haven't seen him for ages, and do you remember when we did that?
It's funny, the eras are named, it's whimsical.
Yes. Did you come up with those names? Or?
So the epochs are of my creation.
Epochs were very, very funny.
So
I'm very fond of the Ming era.
Ming Dynasty.
The Ming Dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the Infinite Garden,
Yes,
that's a
Well,
labeled era.
That's right. So I mean, these era names largely coming from the leadership of the Ethereum Foundation in that period.
Yeah.
Because surprisingly, that does have a massive impact on the general culture and theme. Decentralized ecosystem, but the foundation have still got like an overweighted kind of presence on that.
Yeah.
And saying there with Infinite Garden, and this is something I can't remember if I've spoken about ever on the podcast, is so Infinite Garden started with Aya arriving in February 2018.
Oh yeah.
And then Infinite Garden has become like, the mimetic theme that's often been used. We're not in the garden anymore. The garden ended. Like maybe the people like doing the memes haven't kind of clocked it, but like that era ended with Aya moving upstairs to become the president, and then with Tomas and his other co-ED coming in March 2025. But he left as well.
Yeah. So
like a week or so ago.
With Tomas leaving, is that the start of a new era?
Today.
Or?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope not, because to my mind, he has been the best ED that there has ever been, primarily because he's actually he's run a real business on Ethereum, right?
Well, I think it's a bit like, I've spoken also with Thomas, and I think I can feel a bit like he's not a person who's made for like the management job. I mean, he's maybe super good in it because, like I said, he's experienced with building stuff on Ethereum, but I think he wants to go back to being an actual builder. And I think he has been seeing and thinking about stuff lately that he maybe wants to build himself or help building. And, he maybe sees other people who potentially could take over his job at the Ethereum Foundation. I mean, I forgot who they chose.
Bastian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, if they convinced like he can do like as good as a job as Thomas did, I don't see any reason why it would not be good. I mean, Thomas also, also from personal experience, if he would have kept doing it and be unhappy, I mean, that's also not good, I think. So I think it's from a personal perspective from him to
Yeah.
leave this and go back to building.
I mean, my hope really is that it just doesn't backslide,
Yeah.
because it was such a positive forward step where it was like a really serious attempt on moving things forward, right?
Mhm.
Getting away from the pussyfooting around and not wanting to, hurt people's feeling and try and include, to, resulting in many, many years of very, very slow progress. And then what we saw instead in that era was really seriously taking these things on.
Yeah.
So like, right, privacy, there you go, 40 people team, like, let's hack on it. We're really going to go. Decentralized AI group,
Yeah.
whatever the $1 trillion security thing, just in many, many of these areas going, okay, we've got a load of money, spend the money,
Yeah.
build big, serious teams and get these things, moving forward. And also bringing in community people into that.
Yeah.
That was a new thing
Yeah.
of saying, well, outside of the EF, there's all of these other ecosystem teams, many of them building really big and important things, and going, hey, can you come and help with the base?
Right.
Let's pull everyone in. So that's been awesome. So I really hope that we do not exit what I'm calling wartime CEO phase, and backslide to more ivory tower.
To Colin's point, it is still kind of a political position. Like I don't know that it's probably sort of a fun job, but there's a lot of, even in wartime, there's a lot of people to keep happy.
Yeah.
In a way where you're a builder, often you're a bit of a control freak.
I think he was able to say, right, we're going.
Yes.
Come.
But yeah, I could see it being draining over
absolutely,
time. I'm sure.
absolutely, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and
A lot
also,
of coalition management. And,
yeah, but also with this agentic era, there's never been a better time to be
you
a
got to
builder.
go build.
You have superpowers now. You can think of something and create it in a minimal amount of time. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it must, like Bob said, he did so much in 1 year. I think it must have been a very intense year for him as a person. I mean, he's been doing so much. He's been doing more than in years happened. Very positive stuff. He made this whole tree structure with like Bob said, all these different teams. You even have now an EF everywhere team where they're building hubs and stuff, and all these kind of different things, people going to fund new projects and stuff. He's been making really moves with the funds of the foundation, which didn't happen in the past. So I just hope that the person who's taking over can continue what he was been doing, and then maybe Thomas can set a small step back and keep building on Ethereum. I think that's what he wants to do and what he loves to do. And maybe we will see him back at some point. You never know.
Noticeably as well, saying about the teams, the thing that happened for the first time in this last year is there was actually an org chart published of the EF.
Yep.
And who's in the EF and what are the teams.
Exactly.
That was never public information,
tree structure.
ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a tricky thing when I was, doing my first research in 2017, 2018. There was nothing of that for the current, let alone historical.
Yeah.
Just an absolute shroud of mystery as to who the teams were, what they were doing, what the funding was, who the board were, what the governance was. There's nothing, none of that was public. And that did change this last year, which is great because it's an accountability thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
absolutely.
you're sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars that were raised in the crowdfunding for building this project. Have some transparency.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's also what I love so much about the Ethereum Museum that Bob has been building. It gives kind of an idea how it went in the past. I mean, when Ethereum launched, I was 10 years old, so I have no idea what happened then. No, yeah, but it's true. And many
You're
people,
making us all feel very old.
no, but many people who will come to Ethereum in the next years, they would have never had an idea of how it looked like at the beginning because so much information went lost, nothing properly documented, no proper information findable about it. And I mean, Bob has been doing a great job to bring that back to the light and, give people a kind of an idea how it looked like. And I'm super happy that the EF is finally taking the time to build a proper visible infrastructure of who is where, teams, okay, how does it work and everything. And I hope they continue with doing and even expand it more. So we're going on the good road, I think.
Yeah, I think on that note, Kieran, you're the inventor of the early days of Ethereum. What made you come up? What inspired you to come up with the idea?
I think okay, so it was kind of around the time where we were transitioning business models as a company. And so there was a little bit of like revisiting the roots, going on. But also, so in our B2B days, we were not, we were sort of purposefully not super loud. Like it was sort of direct marketing, look respectable, maybe downplay the cypherpunk beginnings and
Right.
so on. And the B2B market, I mean, it's back a little bit in a different way, but I think it was sort of killed by the pandemic, and it took sometimes you have long contracts, it took some time to die.
Yeah.
And now it's all about like payments basically. And a lot of the there's a bunch of these companies that went like us, sort of like supply chain to NFTs to and so on. And a lot of the sort of like enterprise workflow use cases never really happened. So it was sort of a return home, if you will. But, it was also just like, okay, I have a sense that we're going to need to get some content out there. And our side of the story had not really been told. We were, I think everyone, maybe not everyone, but everyone in Ethereum feels a mix of an insider and an outsider.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we were building, sometimes we would just wake up and hear about stuff like, oh, here's a giant protocol change that was like discussed
Or the tests
somewhere
would
in
just
Europe, or
Yeah,
tests were at 99%, they're at 74 now,
So
and
this in the pre-mainnet launch.
in the pre-mainnet
era.
launch, there was like are we in it? Are we not? It syncs now.
Proof of
There,
concept.
we're in
Yeah.
Skype. There's like this new algorithm for the mining coming in. We did a bunch of activity with Vitalik at that time. So kind of the genesis of Block Apps for us was even before it was a company and before we were part of Consensus was really January 2015. We did a bunch of conferences at the same time in the Bay Area, and there was proof that it was a lot of interest kind of across different sorts of people, from the business community to hardcore crypto types.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people don't really know. A lot of characters kind of came in and out. It's like thankfully most everyone stayed friendly, but as compared with like a company, tremendous churn, and it kind of probably went well from everyone, at least for some extent, but still a lot of bitterness too. And, so it's like it's home, but it's so anyway, story had to get out. I know, so Bob, I know you were one of the main, I guess, archivists also for Laura Shin's book.
Yep.
And I think you had a similar experience, right? Like it was more of an open world then, more of a blank sheet of paper. Product and the idea was great, and that just held everything together where, there was a goodness to the decentralization at the time, but it was also haphazard, insane, amateurish, not efficient in the slightest, So yeah, people should know.
So it was September or October of 2023 that you guys
So we
did those
started,
first
first
two
two.
videos.
Yeah.
And we
So-
invited you on the third.
I came as a guest on the third because I'd done such voluminous notes and links and everything
Yeah.
off those first two.
Yeah.
So I was a guest on the third, which again was that year, maybe November or maybe even October. They're
Yeah.
all very close together.
Yeah.
Those first three, but then nothing for like 2 years.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. We they were labor intensive to do. Well, we had a couple others. We had Julio on.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Oh, I
We
didn't.
had we might have done 4 or 5.
I think I
total.
won't have seen those because
Yeah.
maybe they were.
They might have run on
else-
my
It might have been elsewhere.
YouTube. I started doing a weekly after that. Because
Right.
I wouldn't say we had saturated our early days, but
Right.
we didn't want to keep hitting it
The same
each week.
topic.
And we weren't going to track everybody down as
Right.
you have done.
Right, right.
So,
And so it was quite coincidental, really, that the stuff picked up again because we were doing, weekly spaces.
Right.
And then just 1 week, it's like, well, what are we going to talk about? Has anyone got any ideas for topics? and I think it was me said, well, maybe we could do another early days of Ethereum.
Yeah.
So talk to Taylor Gehring, maybe he'll come on. So we spoke to Taylor, and then a few weeks later, okay, maybe we'll do some more. And then it was Texture, and then yeah, I think number 6 was Christoph Jens.
Yeah.
Good one.
I did some interviews when I was in Prague last October that got very, very delayed until they were released there. So that was with Jakub Czepluch, and then with Michael Parenti, and then Ryan Taylor. So all of those were done in Prague and released 2 or 3 months later. Oh, and Amir Taki as well. And yeah, so we're now into a cadence of like about every 2 weeks, you know, getting more done. So talking to Zolt tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that will be another live one. You know, we were live with both Texture and Taylor, but then more recent ones were all recordings. But yeah, so when we started doing those, I thought, okay, well, am I going to write another like blog post of like, you know, the details for Taylor's, and then it's like, oh, this AI coding, maybe I can like make a website. Can you make me a website that like takes my prior WordPress things and then brings in these videos? And then it's like, oh, we can do transcripts, and you know, it's all sort of taken a life of its own, all really just starting last August.
Yeah, it's a good case in point. Content is so labor intensive, especially if you're trying to have the quality really high as far as the experience. Like the transcripts I read, sometimes I don't watch the long episodes, so
Right.
it's very valuable, and it could get indexed in the search engines and the LLMs.
But I think
and so
other
on.
people who are writing, you know, we were just talking to people who are still writing books about Ethereum. And I think it becomes a valuable resource. But I will say it's helped me kind of contextualize the experience, because I think there's a natural tendency to do like a heroic figure that, you know, started something in the garage and they were the lone hero and brought everything. But this was truly like decentralized from the start, like,
Really?
which made it incredibly confusing, but also like really exciting to
It
be
really
a part
was.
of, because no one would really stop you if you wanted to try something, which
No.
is exciting.
No, and I mean, I think that is a really important narrative that I've wanted to have as well, is Ethereum was the work of many hands.
Yeah.
From the very, very earliest days.
True.
Like, you know, a whole bunch of people coming in the December, like just weeks after the white paper.
Yeah.
And then in January 2014, you know, a whole massive chunk of people appeared before you even had the conference to announce the thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, again through February, March, and all of those many months through to July, it was all volunteers. Nobody was getting paid for anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like literally, hey, here's a thing. It might work. It might be cool. Do you want to come and help? You might get some tokens back, but they might not be worth anything, or it might.
Yeah, there
never
was just
ship.
like absolutely no infrastructure yet. I mean, it was quite chaotic from what I can hear from everything. So yeah. Also, like one suggestion I have from a guest you guys should get on is like William Mugayar. He's like
Oh,
also one of the
we
very.
saw him,
we were
for a
just
second
talking
He's
here.
here. He's here. I
Like
know.
a few seconds ago. Yeah.
I think he has also some great things to add to this whole concept of the early days of Ethereum. So.
I won't
Absolutely.
snipe anything, but I know he has an announcement coming. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
I was looking back through old photos of my own from 2015. So that was when I was living in Toronto for 6 months, and I went to a bunch of meetups when all this stuff was happening, including ones around the mainnet launch. And William, I saw for the first time in one of those, and I noticed that month was actually when he became an advisor for the EF as well.
Oh.
I think because they'd connected
Yeah.
in those like meetups around that launch.
Right.
And he got involved. And he's saying he's got some of the original black and white T-shirts. You know, the black shirts with like the.
I forgot to bring my sticker. I should have.
He
brought
says he's got about
my,
4 of them, but he doesn't wear them. Like he's got
Yeah.
keeping them pristine.
puts them behind glass.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
our NFTs back. We should be
maybe
Are they?
auctioning
well,
them off.
that
They will be ripped a lot.
Colorado has just announced that they're doing an NFT collection for their 150th birthday. So
Okay.
maybe
Bob
we have-
Somerville's early days of Ethereum NFT collection will grow
right.
up a lot, I think.
Well, okay. So to wrap up, how are we feeling about the future of Ethereum based on what we're seeing here and what we've gotten out of kind of putting everything in context with the history too. Maybe I'll start with you, Bob.
Well, talking about these bear periods and like lower numbers but more signal to noise and builders, I think this is the kind of period where Ethereum does shine, and many of the other more shitty ones just kind of like die off, right? Because many of them are hype driven, throughput driven, but not differentiated to Vitalik's point. And yeah, I think that is the period where Bitcoin and Ethereum shine, and maybe not even an awful lot more. I mean, stable coins on those L2s around,
Yep.
but many other L1 chains, it's like, what have you got? Like, really, what have you got? So, yeah, don't get too depressed, people.
Yeah. How about you, Karen? How are you?
I think I agree with that general point. I would say part of what, and this is much more of a thing with Ethereum than Bitcoin, like part of what you're buying in a sense is that there's some huge number of people contributing, and they don't really stop contributing when the prices go down, and they figure out various parts of the roadmap kind of semi-autonomously. And you're also definitely going to see, we've got this leapfrog capability that's happening, and a lot of the value of, and by the way, there's going to be huge security problems, I'm sure, but that you can vibe code a pretty good app now, and you can have agents use apps, probably is the thing that will cause the leapfrog to the next X number of users, right? I was in a conversation yesterday in which a lot of at least the higher in the stack apps are kind of like competing with Robinhood.
Right.
It's not just competing with other crypto. It's sort of the global share of wallet. And I think there's this wedge moment where you haven't really figured out how to tie the LLMs into the legacy system. You will. I know they're piloting it a little bit. Like Visa said they've done like hundreds of card transactions with LLMs. Hundreds.
Amazing.
Yes. And it's like, what's the throughput? 20,000 a second or something like that. But they're just not going to be ready fast enough. And like crypto people, we were at Builder Nights the other night. It seems like everyone is starting to just view agents and human users more or less on the same footing. There's going to be extremely fast adoption there. And I hope you get, I think DeFi is maybe 70-80% of the use case that's going to bring everyone through. And it's just been too hard. Sharp edges, hacks, all that. And so the hope is like the regular person gets the benefits without the costs and the thinking. I think that's going to happen.
The agents can hit all those rough edges and
exactly,
make a
just
nice,
kind of smooth
a
it
nice
out.
thing on the outside.
Yeah. And so I think that'll be what a lot of the next wave is about. But I think there'll be a malaise for like a while.
Yeah. How about you, Colin? What do you think?
Well, yeah, to add on what Kieran said, I think, first of all, like over the past years, like some great infrastructure has been built on Ethereum that may not really reflect into major results now for the outside world. But, things are happening. And I think over the next years, we're going to see better and more adoption to Ethereum. They have been building the whole tech for it. Now is a question like, indeed, with the AI models and with how all the projects are going to add their UX, how they're going to handle their UX, how they're going to handle their onboarding. Depending on that, I think we can see some amazing onboarding over the next years. And not only talking about institutions, because those are already getting on board. And I mean, when the Clarity Act passes, I think we're going to see a huge increase in volume on that side. But I think if we speak about like the everyday consumers, I hope we can onboard like the masses over the next years. And I see an opportunity for that. I tell everyone always like Ethereum is that lifetime opportunity that is still there and that we like have to grab with all of each other. So yeah, I'm positive for the future of Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really positive. I think because of two things we talked about. And we've seen these go in another direction at different times. One is governance. Like I do feel that the governance is managing things in the right way. Like they're thinking about, they're really not just an ivory tower. They're really thinking about how we can execute things faster. You can see that with recent EIPs. But the second thing is that everyone is really thinking about the agentic opportunity in the right way. And I think given that Ethereum is the largest ecosystem, it's going to come up with the best solutions for that first. And so, I'm really optimistic right now. And in some ways, like, not to say a winter is good because people are nervous, but I think we needed some time to absorb what's going on because things are moving so fast, right? So,
Yeah, also to get like all the trash out. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a good period now to get all the nonsense out and focus on what really matters. And I think that's good for the future.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Right. I think we got to
Wrap
wrap up.
we got to wrap up, but where can we find you? Can find me on my Twitter handle at Vic4 Wong. Bob?
So yeah, Bob Summerwill, like some of the season, will, and it's early days of ETH.org.
K James Lubin on X. We're also strato.nexus.
Yeah. So
SCRATO.
on X, Crypto Tarzan 19, and on Telegram, shibatarzan.boo.eth.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You gotta cut it.
Now everything vanished. That would be funny.